Good morning. Welcome to the Millionaire Book Club. My name is Pearlie Hunter. Side effects of tapping in with me every single morning do include personal development, mindset transformations, paradigm shifts, and the ability to think your way to success. So please go ahead and drop me something that you're grateful for in the chat. I'm very, very, very grateful for you. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for another chance to serve in my purpose. I'm grateful for my spouse. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful, very, very grateful that my grandmother got released from the hospital yesterday. She had went in a couple of days ago, but she's feeling so much better. So I'm super grateful about that. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for my ancestors. I'm grateful for my universal connection and my universal awareness. I'm grateful for positivity. I'm grateful for the ability to choose love, to choose light every single day, to wake up and create my life by design. I'm super, super, super grateful for that. So drop me something that y'all grateful for. I love to read what you're grateful for. Attitudes of gratitude is the best way to be because it allows things to flow to you so much easier, right? When you are on a high frequency, high vibration, things can just flow. So that's why we start this call with gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Okay, so if you go back and watch this replay, let me know you was here. Drop me something that you're grateful for. Participate, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube. I Coach Wealth, and let's grow, let's build. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the daily word started. It's July 1st. How about that? It's July 1st. Hey, love. Good morning, Queen and family. Grateful for everything. God is amazing. That's what Crystal said. Grateful for everything. God is amazing. I'm grateful that it's the 1st. Okay, let's get the daily word read. All right. So today is Thursday, July 1st, and the daily word is world peace. I send my heart's peace into the world. The peace of God is changeless and constant, untouched by the ebb and flow of the world's conditions. When I wish to see more of that perfect peace in the world, I remember peace begins with me. To keep my awareness of God's love alive in my heart, I speak words of kindness and am eager to lend a helping hand. I listen deeply and seek to understand another's point of view. I am patient and considerate, brightening the day of all those I meet. Practicing peace keeps my thoughts and feelings focused on peace. I imagine it flowing from me into the world. Through my thoughts, words, and actions, I take comfort knowing that I am helping to create the peaceful world I wish to see. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. And that's Romans 12:18, right? So world peace, world happiness, a world full of love, a world full of light. That's what I'm looking forward to. Barb said, I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my husband, my family. I'm grateful for the wisdom and the knowledge that I learned from the Millionaire Book Club. I'm just so grateful. I am grateful, 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 grateful. Yes. It sounds like my song, that Hezekiah Walker song. I love that song. I really love that song. And it's called Grateful, Gratefulness. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and see what these cards got to say to us today. Okay. So our first card, this is the Four Agreements deck that I pulled from for us by Don Miguel Ruiz, the 5th book we read in the book club. We currently on our 9th book, yay us. And our first card for the day is a Don't Make Assumptions card, okay? Eliminate gossip. Eliminate gossip. Don't make assumptions. Making assumptions is a setup for suffering because usually we gossip about our assumptions. We make assumptions and believe we are right. Then we defend our assumptions and try to make others wrong. Okay? So we make an assumption about a situation. We think we know it all, right? Without even really piecing out all of the other factors, and we roll with it, right? And then we tell other people, and then they tell other people, and then it's just a bad cycle, right? Our next card is another don't make assumptions card, okay? So today, be very mindful of what you're thinking, right? Don't make assumptions. Say goodbye to sadness and drama. Say goodbye to sadness and drama. It's the third quarter of the year, y'all. It's the third quarter. Whatever we reap, whatever we sow, we should be reaping it all with the next third quarter, fourth quarter, right? Say goodbye to sadness and drama. All the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. The whole world of control between humans is based on that. Take a moment and consider this, okay? Take a moment and consider this. All the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted in making assumptions, okay? So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't make assumptions, right? You have your truths. Let other people have their truths. And who cares? Their truths don't have to align with your truths, right? I am listening, coach. If I go in and out, have to go and connect these magic bands. Okay. Go ahead with it. I wish I was there with y'all in the magical world of Disney. Go ahead and connect them so y'all can be ready. It's going to be so fun. I remember when my magic bands came in a box, we was able to like pick the color. I think we was able to pick like our name or something like that. It was really, really cool. What I want to talk to y'all about before we get started, I want to talk to y'all about goals, right? It's July 1st. So I think it is a good time to go ahead and establish some goals. Okay. If you haven't, or if you want to start doing something differently or change or incorporate something new into your routine or into your habit, anytime is a great time to do it, because once you make the decision is made. But the first of the month is a good time because it allows you to know, to be like consistent, right? It's the first. We want to do this through the 30th, whatever. So I have a goal card right here, right? And my goal card, I got this idea from my mentor, Nano, which I told all of you guys about him. Y'all can listen to him every single day. When I get off of our call, I get on another call, and it's with Nano, right? And he talks about all of this same information. And it was so divine on the call yesterday. Crystal, did you listen in yesterday? It was so divine because he had a guest speaker. And his guest speaker was just in awe with Nano. He said Nano is his role model. Nano has taught him so much. I feel the same way. But he was changed by a book. And guess what the book was? We in alignment. So he got on there and he gave us this whole testimony about how this book changed his life, about how since he started changing his mindset, like everything just been so much better for him. And I feel the exact same way. So nothing really big. I just felt like it was confirmation that we on the right path. We in alignment. Nothing happens by coincidence, chance, or luck. So the fact that we started this book this week, that guy got on and he talked about this book, it's just a synchronicity, right? And I pay attention to all of the messages that the universe sends me, right? And I can do that because I'm aware. I'm very aware. So if I wasn't aware, it would have just blew past me, right? But okay, yes, back to goals. Make a goal. This is my goal card. He said you should have a goal card with you at all times, okay? And he developed that theory from Bob Proctor. So I don't know if y'all know who Bob Proctor is, but another powerful law of attraction coach, right? He got that theory from him. So I'll just let y'all know what my goal says. And you can make your own goal, but you should keep it with you every single day. Read it every single day, a couple times a day. And make it real specific to what you want to achieve, right? Make it specific to what you want to manifest right now. So for me, my goal right now is you want to start this thing with I am something, right? At all times. So my goal is I am so happy and grateful now that I make over $10,000 a month through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Okay. I am so happy and grateful now. So this is my goal. I say it every day. I visualize it every single day. You know what I'm saying? On Nano's call, actually, they do a visualization meditation every single morning for about 10 minutes before he starts his talk. But I visualize this thing every day, and I'm not so much visualizing how it's going to happen, right? Because the how is irrelevant. I'm more so thinking about how I'm going to feel as a result of that happening. So the freedom I'll have, the things I'll be able to do, the bills I'll be able to pay easily and effortlessly, things of that nature. Okay. So it's not to sit there and think about the plan of how to do it. It's just about the result of how it feels to have achieved that goal. And so I just want to tell y'all that because it's the first of the month. I think we all should start incorporating that into our habits. Okay. Another thing before we get started, we will not have a reading tomorrow. Okay. I have to work tomorrow. I'm so glad that I checked. I haven't been to work since June 8th. So I'm not complaining at all. But I have to go in Friday and Saturday tomorrow. I'm scheduled next Friday as well. So when we get off of this call, I'm going to pre-record the reading for tomorrow. Okay. So you'll just be able to go on YouTube tomorrow at 7:30. So we don't have to break routine. It won't be live, but it will be a pre-recorded reading for chapter 2. Okay. The end of chapter 2, because we're going to start chapter 2 today and then we'll be able to finish it tomorrow. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. And it'll be the same thing for next week because I'm working next week as well. Another thing I went through, because the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. I don't want to tell y'all to do something that I'm not even willing to do myself. So I did go through Think Like a Monk, chapter 1, and I went through all of the try thises, right? So I brought my handy dandy notebook back out, the notebook I was using when we were doing Zig Ziglar's book, because his book was full of juicy stuff. I didn't have to take too many notes with Power of Awareness. Stuff was so short and condensed and sweet, but I went through my try thises, and a couple of these are like, you have to do it for like a week, right? But the one that I had the most, it was kind of like trouble with, not trouble, but just it was challenging for me to decide. It wasn't the values, the one where they say, where did your values come from? Origin. Are these specific to you? Or, you know what I'm saying? The one that I had the hardest time with was past values on page 16. Okay. So if you have the book, I had the hardest time with that. Basically, let's see what it say. I don't know why. So try this. Reflect on the 3 best and 3 worst choices you've ever made. Why did you make them? Why have you learned? How would you have done it differently? And I think that I had such a hard time because I never really thought about it in that way, right? Like, what was the 3 best choices I've ever made? What was the 3 worst choices I've ever made? I've never even evaluated myself in that way. I can evaluate other people, right, all the time, and what they do wrong and what they do not do right in their life, right? But I never took that time to sit there and evaluate me. So I want y'all to do it because I want to see if y'all gonna have a similar experience. It was very enlightening for me to, sit there and think about my life, think about my accomplishments, think about my failures, think about all of that stuff. And one thing that I did put on here, one of the best choices I've ever made in my life was becoming a nurse, right? And so that got me to thinking, when I started this journey, I kind of veered away from that, like I was running from that. But I got to think about it for me. I don't have no average job, right? I have a career, number one, and I love it. I'm labor and delivery. I deliver babies. It's a beautiful thing. And so it got me thinking yesterday, I kind of been missing it because I don't do it. I told y'all the last time I was at work was June 8th, right? The last time I worked was June 8th. So I don't really do it as much as I was. And now that I'm in this space where I feel comfortable with where I'm at, where I'm going. I know exactly what I need to do to get to where I want to be. I'm going to start going more. Okay. So I'm going to probably start at least going 1 day a week just to keep myself skilled in the skill set, right? I work on a specialty unit, right? I work on a specialty unit. I'm designing a labor and delivery gown right now that's in production. So I want to stay connected, right? I want to stay connected to my coworkers. I want to stay connected to my people because I do like that part of me. I love that part of me, right? I worked hard to get there. And so moving forward, I'll let y'all know, but I don't know. 1 day a week, I'm going to have to go to work. So we probably will have pre-recorded days 1 day a week. And I'm thinking Fridays will be the best day because it's already just working out like that, but I'm not 100% sure. I would have loved for you to be my nurse. Listen, I love my people. And that's how I know, like, what I do with y'all every day, talking to y'all, that's what I do with my patients all day, every day, right? Making them feel comfortable, supporting them, and then bringing life into the world. But when I started this journey, y'all, I promise, it felt like I went from a position of bringing life into the world and to where I was having life being put into me. That's how much this information impacted my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's still doing that to this day. So I'm super blessed. I'm super grateful. You are so sweet, Queen, to us. Thank you, Barb. Thank you so much. Y'all so sweet for rolling with it all, right? Y'all just roll with it. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my tribe. I'm grateful for my soul family. I'm grateful for the people God sent to me to let me know this is worth it, right? Keep doing it. It don't matter how many people hop on this call. If I can help somebody, if I can help anybody while helping myself, I'm doing something good. I'm doing something right. This is so beautiful because what you are putting in their spirit, it is that is being going into the spirit of the child that the woman is carrying. That is awesome. Yeah, I never even thought about it like that. You're right. You're right. They hear me. I'm coaching her. You know what I'm saying? It's a really, really good experience. But enough about me. This is about y'all. Okay. This is about us. Enough about me. Let's jump into this read. Okay. So we doing chapter 2 today. Chapter 1 was amazing. It was about identity. It was about values. And we've had a lot of training about that already. That's all that the 4 agreements was about, right? Our beliefs, our values, challenging that. So today we're going to start talking about negativity, okay? And if I say something that resonates with you, please go ahead and drop an MOC in the chat. MOC means moment of clarity. It's my way to connect with the audience, to know that you are still with me, you awake, you taking value from this. If you are taking notes on stuff, just let me know, like if you need me to repeat something. We do have some action steps in this book, gratefully. So, just let me know. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already have the book. So let's get started. Chapter 2 starts on page 20, and it's negativity. The evil king goes hungry. It is impossible to build one's own happiness on the unhappiness of others. It is the summer after my 3rd year of college. I have returned from spending a month at the ashram and am now interning for a finance firm. I'm at lunch with a couple of my colleagues. We've grabbed sandwiches and brought them to the concrete courtyard in front of the building where low walls crisscross the hardscaping, and young people in suits eat speedy lunches, defrosting in the summer sun before returning to the hyper air-conditioned building. I am a monk out of water. Did you hear about Gabe? One of my friends says in a loud whisper. The partners tore apart his presentation. That dude, another friend says, shaking his head. He's sinking fast. I flash back to a class Garanga Das taught called Cancers of the Mind. Comparing, complaining, criticizing. In the class, we talked about negative thought habits, including gossip. One of the exercises we did was keeping a tally of every criticism we spoke or thought. For each one, we had to write down 10 good things about the person. It was hard. We were living together in close quarters. Issues came up, most of them petty. The average time for a monk's shower was 4 minutes. When there was a line at the showers, we would take bets on who was taking too long. This was the only betting we did because monks. And though the snorers were relegated to their own room, sometimes new practitioners emerged and we rated their snores on a scale of motorcycles. This monk's a Vespa. That one's a Harley Davidson. I went through the exercise, dutifully noting every criticism I let slip. Next to each, I jotted down 10 positive qualities. The point of the exercise wasn't hard to figure out. Every person was more good than bad. But seeing it on the page made the ratio sink in. This helped me see my own weaknesses differently. I tended to focus on my mistakes without balancing them against my strengths. Right? How many people do this? How many people do you know? Is it you? Is it your children? Is it somebody you know? Right? I tended to focus on my mistakes without balancing them against my strengths. When I found myself being self-critical, I reminded myself that I too had positive qualities. Putting my negative qualities in context helped me recognize the same ratio in myself, that I am more good than bad. We talked about this feedback loop in class. When we criticize others, we can't help but notice the bad in ourselves. But when we look for the good in others, we start to see the best in ourselves too. The guy sitting next to me on the wall nudges me out of my reverie. So, you think he'll last? I've lost track of what we were talking about. Who? I ask. Gabe. He shouldn't have been hired in the first place, right? Oh, I don't know, I say. Right? But listen to how they kept trying to engage him in that negativity, right? Once I spent time in the ashram, I became very sensitive to gossip. I'd gotten used to conversations with primarily positive energy. When I first arrived back in the world, I was awkwardly silent. I didn't want to be the morality police, but I also didn't want to participate. As the Buddha advised, do not give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give it to what you do or fail to do, right? If more people did that, this thing keep falling. It's making me mad, y'all. If more people did that, right, stuff will be so different because everybody will be in a position where they're moving, right? Instead of trying to pull somebody else down to get up, right? Do not give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give it to what you do or fail to do. I quickly figured out to say things like, oh, I'm not sure, or I haven't heard anything. Then I shift the conversation to something more positive. Did you hear they've asked Max to stay on? I'm psyched for him. Gossip has value in some situations. It helps society regulate what is acceptable behavior, and we often use it to see if others agree with our judgments about other people's behavior and therefore our values. But there are kinder ways to negotiate these questions. More often, we use gossip to put others down, which can make us feel superior to them and or bolster our status in a group. Some of my friends and colleagues stopped trying to gossip with me altogether. We had real conversations instead. Some trusted me more, realizing that since I didn't gossip with them, I wouldn't gossip about them. If there were people who thought I was just plain boring, well, I have nothing bad to say about them. Negativity is everywhere. You wake up, your hair looks terrible. Your partner complains that you're out of coffee. On the way to work, some driver who's texting makes you miss the light. The news on the radio is worse than yesterday. Your coworker whispers to you that Candace is pretending to be sick again. Every day we are assaulted by negativity. No wonder we can't help but dish it out as well as receive it. Did y'all hear that? No wonder we can't help but dish it out as well as receive it. We report the aches and pains of the day rather than the small joys. We compare ourselves to our neighbors, complain about our partners, say things about our friends behind their backs that we would never say to their faces, criticize people on social media, argue, deceive, even explode into anger. This negative chatter even takes place throughout what we might consider to be a good day. And it's not part of anyone's plan. In my experience, nobody wakes up and thinks, how can I be mean to or about other people today? Or how can I make myself feel better by making others feel worse today? Still, negativity often comes from within. We have 3 core emotional needs, which I like to think of as peace, love, and understanding. Thanks, Nick Lowe and Elvis Costello. Negativity in conversation, emotions, and actions often springs from a threat to one of the 3 needs. Okay, listen. A fear that bad things are going to happen, or a loss of peace. A fear of not being loved, or a loss of love. Or a fear of being disrespected. Loss of understanding. From these fears stem all sorts of other emotions. Feeling overwhelmed, insecure, hurt, competitive, needy, and so on. These negative feelings spring out of us as complaints, comparisons, and criticisms, and other negative behaviors. Think of the trolls who dive onto social media, dumping ill will on their targets. Perhaps their fear is that they aren't respected, and they turn to trolling to feel significant. Or perhaps their political beliefs are generating the fear that their world is unsafe, right? Perhaps their political beliefs are generating the fear that their world is unsafe. How many people in this world right now feel like it's unsafe or really not trusting, right? Scared and fear. How many? A lot. Too many. For another example, we all have friends who turn a catch-up phone call into an interminable vent session describing their job, their partner, their family, what's wrong, what's unfair, what's never going to change. For these people, nothing ever seems to go right. This person may be expressing their fear that bad things are going to happen. Their core need for peace and security is threatened. Okay? Bad things do happen. In our lives, we're all victims at some point. Excuse me. Whether we're being racially profiled or being cut off in traffic. But if we adopt a victim mentality, we're more likely to take on a sense of entitlement and to behave selfishly. Stanford psychologists took 104 subjects and assigned them to one of 2 groups. One told to write a short essay about a time they were bored, and the other to write about a time when life seemed unfair or when they felt wronged or slighted by someone. Afterward, the participants were asked if they wanted to help the researchers with an easy task. Those who written about a time they've been wrong were 26% less likely to help the researchers. In a similar study, participants who identified with a victim mindset were not only more likely to express selfish attitudes afterward, they were also more likely to leave behind trash and even take the experimenters' pens. Negativity is contagious. We're social creatures who get most of what we want in life: peace, love, and understanding from the group we gather around us. Our brains adjust automatically to both harmony and disagreement. We've already talked about how we unconsciously try to please others. Well, we also want to agree with others. Research has proven that most humans value social conformity so much that they'll change their own responses, even their perceptions, to align with the group, even when the group is blatantly wrong. In the 1950s, Solomon Asch gathered groups of college students and told them they were doing a vision test. The catch was that in each group, everyone was an actor except one person, the subject of the test. Asch showed participants an image of a target line first, then of a series of 3 lines, one shorter, one longer, and one that was clearly the same length as the target line. The students were asked which line matched the length of the target line. Sometimes the actors gave correct answers, and sometimes they purposely gave incorrect answers. In each case, the real study participant answered last. The correct answer should have been obvious. But influenced by the actors, about 75% of the subjects followed the crowd to give an incorrect response at least once. This phenomenon has been called groupthink bias. We're wired to conform. Your brain would rather not deal with conflict and debate. It would much prefer to lounge in the comfort of like-mindedness. That's not a bad thing if we're surrounded by, say, monks. But if we're surrounded by gossip, conflict, and negativity, we start to see the world in those terms, just like the people who went against their own eyes in Asch's line of experiment. The instinct for agreement has a huge impact on our lives. It is one of the reasons why, in a culture of complaint, we join the fray. And the more negativity that surrounds us, the more negative we become. We think that complaining will help us process our anger. But research confirms that even people who report feeling better after venting are still more aggressive post-gripe than people who did not engage in venting. At the Bhakti Vedanta Manor, the temple's London outpost, there was one monk who drove me crazy. If I asked him how he was in the morning, he'd tell me about how badly he slept and whose fault it was. He complained that the food was bad, and yet there was never enough, right? So Debbie Downers, start being able to identify these people in your life who have these traits and these characteristics and these qualities, right? And if you can't help them grow from it, which you probably can't, right? Everybody gonna have to change at their own divine right time. But you do have the responsibility of protecting your peace and energy, okay? Okay. It was relentless verbal diarrhea, so negative that I never wanted to be around him. Then I found myself complaining about him to the other monks. And so I became exactly what I was criticizing, right? Think about that. He said, then I found myself complaining about him to the other monks. So somebody that drove him crazy because they complained so much about everything, right? Everything was wrong. Nothing was right. He transferred that energy to him, right? That complaining energy, that complaining spirit. He transferred it to him. And now he over here telling people about this person's problems, right? So just think about that. Complaining is contagious, and he passed it on to me. Studies show that negativity, like mine, can increase aggression toward random, uninvolved people, and that the more negative your attitude, the more likely you are to have a negative attitude in the future. Studies also show that long-term stress, right, like that generated by complaining, actually shrinks your hippocampus. That's the region of your brain that affects reasoning and memory. Cortisol, the same stress hormone that takes a toll on the hippocampus, also impairs your immune system and has loads of other harmful effects. I'm not blaming every illness on negativity, but if remaining positive can prevent even one of my winter colds, I'm all for it. Okay? I like this. So, long-term stress, right? How many stressors are we confronted with on a day-to-day basis, right? We confronted with a lot of different situations, and it's not the situation, it's about how you handle the situation, right? So don't be the one that's causing your own demise. You know what I'm saying? Because you keeping yourself in a state of fear, a state of stress, a state of worry, a state of negativity, a state of anger, a state of depression, right? That's all mental things, right? That you have control over. You have control. You have power over it. Okay. Types of negative people. Negative behaviors surround us so constantly that we grow accustomed to them. Think about whether you have any of the following in your life, okay? So I'm about to read this list, and I love this list. So be open with yourself, be honest with yourself. Think about if you have it, and think about those people around you who might have it, and then come up with how you're going to protect your peace when you're around them. If you go in prepared, then you've already won, right? If you go into a situation knowing what you're going to expect from a person, then you can stand your ground. You can stand in your light. Right? Okay. Think about whether you have any of the following in your life. Complainers. Like the friend on the phone who complain endlessly without looking for solutions. Life is a problem that will be hard, if not impossible to solve. Okay? That's a complainer. Then you have your cancelers who take a compliment and spin it. And then it's so funny that he outlined all of these type of people, because I can literally, each one of these, I can think of somebody who I've encountered, maybe even in this last week, right? Who has done something like this. Cancelers who take a compliment and spin it. You look good today becomes, you mean I looked bad yesterday? Like, what is you talking about? Casualties who think the world is against them and blame their problems on others. Those are casualties. Critics who judge others for either having a different opinion or not having one, for any choices they've made that are different from what the critic would have done, right? But for us, we understand that everybody is living their own journey. They got their own truth, right? So it's not going to be the same. Commanders who realize their own limits, but pressure others to succeed. They'll say, "You never have time for me," even though they're busy as well. Competitors who compare themselves to others, controlling and manipulating to make themselves or their choices look better. They are in so much pain that they want to bring others down. Often we have to play down our successes around these people because we know they can't appreciate them. Controllers who monitor and try to direct how their friends or partners spend time, and with whom, and what choices they make. Okay? So all of these C words, right? Complainers, cancelers, casualties, critics, commanders, competitors, controllers, right? Know them. Be able to identify them in your life. Be able to identify those traits within yourself so you can grow from them and change them, right? You don't want to be that person in somebody else's eyes. You don't want to be one of these people, the complainer, the cancer, the casualty, the critic. You don't want to be that. You want to bring the light to people, right? Not the darkness, not the negativity, not the sadness, not the worry, not the stress, right? When people leave your energy, after you engage with somebody, you want to leave them feeling good, happy, like, dang, okay, why I feel so good? You know what I'm saying? Because it's your energy, and energy is contagious. You can have fun with this list, seeing if you can think of someone to fit each type. But the real point of it is to help you notice and frame these behaviors when they come at you. Okay? If you put everyone into the same box of negativity, they're so annoying. You aren't any closer to deciding how to manage each relationship. Okay? Sure don't. You're right. I want to bring the light. Yes, bring that light, girl. The sunshine. I want to rename myself to Sunshine. Okay? So you can't just say, oh, they get on my nerves. Oh, they annoying. Oh, they irritating. That's not enough, right? That's not enough. You aren't any closer to deciding how to manage those relationships when you just put them in that box. Figure out what type of person they are, and then figure out how to protect yourself from it, how to spin it, how to say things that's making them be a little more, you know what I'm saying? A little more happier, a little more brighter, okay? On this YouTube link tomorrow. Absolutely. Thank you, Barb. It'll definitely be on YouTube for you. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your day, Queen. Okay. On the day I moved to the ashram with 6 other new monks traveling from England, they told us to think of our new home as a hospital where we were all patients. Becoming a monk, detaching from material life, was not seen as an achievement in and of itself. It simply meant that we were ready to be admitted to a place of healing where we could work to overcome the illnesses of the soul that infected and weakened us. I love that. Because that's where we are, right? We are ready to be admitted to a place of healing where we could work to overcome the illnesses of the soul that infected us and weakened us. In a hospital, as we all know, even the doctors get sick. Nobody is immune. The senior monks reminded us that everyone had different sicknesses. Everyone was still learning. And that just as we would not judge anyone else's health problems, we shouldn't judge someone who sinned differently. Garanga Das repeated this advice in brief metaphorical form that we often use to remind ourselves not to harbor negative thoughts towards others. Don't judge someone with a different disease. Don't expect anyone to be perfect. Don't think you are perfect. Okay? Don't judge someone with a different disease. Don't expect anyone to be perfect. And don't think that you are perfect. Instead of judging negative behavior, we try to neutralize the charge or even reverse it to a positive. Once you recognize a complainer isn't looking for solutions, you realize you don't have to provide them, right? Save yourself. If a commander says, "You're too busy for me," you can say, "Should we find a time that works for both of us?" Reverse external negativity. The categories above help us step away from the negative person in order to make clear-headed decisions about our role in the situation. The monk way is to dig to the root, diagnose, and clarify a situation so you can explain it simply to yourself. Let's use this approach to define strategies for dealing with negative people. Okay, so some more action, some strategies. How to deal with negative people. Become an objective observer. Monks lead with awareness. We approach negativity, any type of conflict really, by taking a step back to remove ourselves from the emotional charge of the moment. Catholic monk father Thomas Keating said, I love this, okay? This is an MOC for me. Listen to what this man said. There is no commandment that says we have to be upset by the way other people treat us, right? There is no commandment that says that. The reason we are upset is because we have an emotional program that says, if someone is nasty to me, I cannot be happy or feel good about myself. Instead of reacting compulsively and retaliating, we could enjoy our freedom as human beings and refuse to be upset. We step away, not literally, but emotionally, and look at the situation as if we are not in the middle of it. We will talk more about this distance, which is called detachment, in the next chapter. For now, I'll say that it helps us find understanding without judgment. Negativity is a trait, not someone's identity. A person's true nature can be obscured by clouds, but like the sun, it is always there. And clouds can overcome any of us. We have to understand this when we deal with people who exude negative energy. Just like we wouldn't want someone to judge us by our worst moments, we must be careful not to do that to others. When someone hurts you, it's because they're hurt. Their hurt is simply spilling over. They need help. And as the Dalai Lama says, if you can help others. If you cannot do that, at least do not harm them. Okay? So if somebody is being nasty to you, giving negative, nasty energy to you, you don't necessarily have to give it back to them, right? That's a choice that you have. You can choose to still remain who you are within, right? Not let someone else control your frequency, your vibration. Remain who you are and be positive. Be the light. And if you can't help, at least do not harm. So if they already in a bad space, in a bad mood, you realize and recognize that because they being nasty, right? So don't harm them and make it worse. Add fuel to their fire. Just go about your day, right? Don't go back and forth with a negative person. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to engage with them, somebody to let their frustrations out on, right? They want to transfer that negative energy to you. And now your whole day, you trying to figure out where you went wrong in your day, right? It's because you encountered this negative person and you continued or you decided to engage with them instead of protecting your energy, protecting your peace. Back slowly away. From a position of understanding, we are better equipped to address negative energy. The simplest response is to back slowly away. Just as in the last chapter, we let go of the influences that interfered with our values, We want to cleanse ourselves of the negative attitudes that cloud our outlook. In the heart of the Buddha's teachings, Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk who has been called the father of mindfulness, writes, "Letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. I encourage you to purge or avoid physical triggers of negative thoughts and feelings, like that sweatshirt your ex gave you or the coffee shop where you always run into a former friend. If you don't let go physically, you won't let go emotionally. But when a family member, a friend, or a colleague is involved, distancing ourselves is often not an option or not the first response we want to give. We need to use other strategies. The 25-75 principle. For every negative person in your life, have 3 uplifting people, right? You need that balance, especially if it's people that you can't get away from, like if it's a coworker or a spouse or a child or your parents, right? For every negative person in your life, have 3 uplifting people. I try to surround myself with people who are better than I am in some way. Happier, more spiritual. In life, as in sports, being around better players pushes you to grow. I don't mean for you to take this so literally that you label each of your friends either negative or uplifting. But aim for the feeling that at least 75% of your time is spent with people who inspire you rather than bring you down. Do your part in making the friendship an uplifting exchange. Don't just spend time with the people you love, grow with them. Take a class, read a book, do a workshop. Sangha is the Sanskrit word for community, and it suggests a refuge where people serve and inspire each other, right? Hence the Millionaire Book Club, right? Serve and inspire each other, grow together. Allocate time. Another way to reduce negativity, if you can't remove it, is to regulate how much time you allow a person to occupy based on their energy. Some challenges we face only because we allowed them to challenge us. There might be some people you can only tolerate for an hour, a month, some for a day, some for a week. Maybe you even know a 1-minute person. Consider how much time is best for you to spend with them and don't exceed it, right? How much time is best for you. Don't be a savior. If all someone needs is an ear, you can listen. If all someone needs is an ear, you can listen without exerting much energy. If we try to be problem solvers, then we become frustrated when people don't take our brilliant advice. Okay, this might be the most important one, especially for us on this journey, because when we get here, we want to help people, right? We want other people to have this level of clarity, this level of awareness, this positive mindset, this positive disposition, right? Because we live in a negative society. We groomed and reared and raised on negativity. You cut on the news is negative. Everything is negative, right? So when you get here, you want to help and you want to see other people grow too. But everybody is going to grow in their own time, right? You can't make anybody do it. So don't be a savior. Save yourself those negative feelings, okay? And I'm telling y'all from experience, right? From experience. The desire to save others is ego-driven. Don't let your own needs shape your response. In Sayings of the Fathers, a compilation of teachings and maxims from Jewish rabbinic tradition, it is advised, don't count the teeth in someone else's mouth. Similarly, don't attempt to fix a problem unless you have the necessary skills. Think of your friend as a person who is drowning. If you are an excellent swimmer, a trained lifeguard, then you have the strength and wherewithal to help a swimmer in trouble. Similarly, if you have the time and mind space to help another person, go for it. But if you're only a fair swimmer and you try to save a drowning person, they are likely to pull you down with them. Okay? MOC. If you're only a fair swimmer and you try to save a drowning person, right? You're more than likely to be pulled under. Instead, you call for the lifeguard. Similarly, if you don't have the energy and experience to help a friend, you can introduce them to people or ideas that might help them. Maybe someone else is their rescuer. Okay? So this is where we are going to stop it for today, stopping on page 31. Wow, that was amazing. If you took value from that, please drop me a 111 in the chat if you can. That was super amazing. I'm super blessed. I'm super grateful to have came across this information, to have things broken down in this way, right? To be able to identify those people in your life, the complainers, the critics, the controllers, the casualties, all of these people, to be able to identify them and then have your plan of how to interact with them, that's power, y'all. That's power. That's knowing what you're getting yourself into, right? Not just going blindly into a situation or into some energy. No, we already know how these waters are, and we choose to navigate them in this way, right? Even if you never navigated them in that way before, if you were the person that reacted to people, or if somebody gave you negative, you matched energy. People like to say that all the time. I'm matching their energy, or I'm giving them the energy that they gave me. That's not cool, because if they giving you negative energy and you just want to match theirs, you can match theirs, but just know that that's what you manifesting in your future reality, right? Whatever seeds you are sowing now is what you will reap later. Okay. So listen, this was great. We gonna end it here on page 31. Tomorrow we are going to start fresh with reverse internal negativity. This is still chapter 2 though. I will pre-record this live and I am going to post it on YouTube in the morning. Okay. So we won't actually have a live call, but the read will be there. If you aren't subscribed to the YouTube, please go ahead and do that. I Coach Wealth on YouTube, no underscores, just I Coach Wealth. And you will be able to have a read in the morning. So I am going to miss y'all tomorrow. I really, really am. But I am going to, go serve another aspect of my purpose, right? Go serve. And so I'm grateful. Y'all protect y'all energy today. Y'all protect y'all peace today. Be a light today. Be kind today. Be happy for no reason today, right? Unapologetically happy, unapologetically free. Okay. I am your sister in love. I am your sister in light. And I will see y'all in the morning. Well, I won't see y'all in the morning actually, but the read will be there in the morning and I'll be thinking of y'all in the morning. Okay. All right. Let's go. It's July 1st. Make them goals.